Hello, everyone. So today I wanted to talk about WordPress, and I wanted to ask this question. Do you find WordPress tricky? So I'm Jillian Tober Leslie. I'm founder of Catch My Party, founder of MiloTree, and host of the Blogger Genius podcast. And my job is to be a business translator. I take complex concepts, hopefully break them down, interview experts, and share with you what is working in online business right now. So I wanted to talk about WordPress because we get a lot of feedback that WordPress, while people know it's supposed to be where you start your blog and it's a good foundation, when they get into WordPress, they discover that it's not that intuitive. So I wanted to say that we, David and I, my partner, husband, tech guru, and I, tomorrow, are hosting a live WordPress workshop to help people create content quickly. And so here I'm using something called StreamYard. And so this is a link if you want to learn about, don't you like that? To learn about our workshop that's going live tomorrow. Also, if you want to leave a comment, please do. However, because I'm using this thing called StreamYard, because of privacy things, you have to give them permission to show your name. So if that's the case, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and then I can see who you are. Otherwise, I can see your comments. I just can't see your name, and I'd love to see your name. So please do that. But anyway, so here are a couple things that we're going to talk about in the WordPress workshop tomorrow, happening live on Zoom at 2 p.m. We are going to talk about how to use the Gutenberg editor, that's the block editor, to create a post. Now, to be honest with you, I'm a convert. We used to use the old editor. I didn't want to move to the new one. However, I forced myself to, and David forced me to, and I really like it. And I like it because I think it's easier to create content on WordPress that's skimmable for your audience so that, they're busy, they want to get to the answer. And two, it is useful for Google to understand what your content is about, because we're going to build it in blocks rather than it be like an essay. It's going to be blocks and useful. We're going to go through all of that. And I think that that is going to be super beneficial. And then the second thing I want to do is go through a blog post and show you how to optimize it for SEO, because your posts are nothing if people aren't seeing them. And I want you to set yourself up so that Google can find your posts and they show up in search. And by the way, this also works for Pinterest, which is another search engine and cares about keywords. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And we're also going to be talking about how to think about creating content, how to know what content to create. I mean, if it's like infinite. So yes, hopefully you're in a niche, but then the question is, okay, now what? I could write about a whole host of things. So how do you hone in on what to create? And then the second thing is, how is this specific piece of content going to grow your business? Because it's not just I'm creating content for free and hope someday people show up and hope someday I figure out how to monetize this. It's all about thinking this stuff up front and how to think about it. What is the kind of paradigm? And that's what we're going to talk about. Also, I'm going to give everybody a worksheet to really work through before creating a blog post, how to think about it. And then once you've gone and written that blog post, to go back and say, is this readable? Is this, am I using my keywords strategically? How am I answering questions that people might be having? Am I serving this up better than what already exists on the internet. So this is what we're talking about. So please head to milotree.com/WordPress. So it's $49, 60 minutes showing up live. And then we're going to stay for questions. So probably will be longer than an hour. Also, if you can't show up tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Time, you can still join. You can submit your questions beforehand, and then we're going to answer all of those questions during the workshop. So you will get your questions answered. And then after, I'm recording it on Zoom, I'll be sending everybody a link to the workshop. So you always have it as a reference to say, wait, I remember Jillian did this thing, or David had this trick, or how do I do it, so that you can see it in real time? Because once you get it, I think you'll like it. It's just, it's hard, I think, to kind of teach yourself, and also to think about what the goal is. So we're going to give it context, and we're going to talk about business building in creating content. You know, I always say you're not a content creator, you're a content marketer, because you're taking this content and it's serving a purpose beyond just educating your audience. It is helping your audience and growing your business at the same time. And that's what we're going to dig into. And then I wanted to just give you a couple tips. We set up people's WordPress blogs, which is why we're doing this workshop, because people, once we've set up their WordPress blog, we've optimized it. It's so just like top of the line. It is fast. It has all the right plugins. You know, we've done all the thinking for you. So we're like, okay, guys, go. And then they come back and they go, well, what do I do? How do I do this? And so that's why we thought, you know what, we need to step back and help people create content and so that they feel comfortable, because WordPress is tricky and it's not intuitive. And I want to make it so that you're not afraid of the platform and you can just go and really build your library of content. So I wanted to talk just about a couple things for you people who are thinking about, do I put my blog on WordPress, and what do I do when I set up? So yes, I recommend, if you want to build an online business, you start on WordPress, not on Squarespace or Weebly or Wix or any of those. Those are kind of like more pre-built. However, they don't have the flexibility that WordPress does. WordPress, you really get to own it. You can build it out any way you want. However, in a weird way, it almost has like too many options. So we always say, we need to kind of sometimes rein people in to know. But yes, definitely WordPress. 2 then is the issue of hosting. You have to host your blog somewhere. And there are certain companies, and I won't say which ones they are, but what they do is they offer really inexpensive hosting, and then they try to upsell you. So they're willing to get you in for a couple dollars a month to host, and you think, oh my God, this is a great deal. And a lot of times it's a little too good to be true. Their platform is slow. It's not as reliable. They're really good at marketing, but they're not necessarily as good at delivery, whether that be customer service, that kind of thing. So one blog hosting company we really like is called SiteGround. And I recommend you check that out, because with it, you get what's called a free caching plugin and you get free backup. So these are things that you'd have to pay with other cheaper services. I think SiteGround, the plan we recommend is like $9.99 a month. So if you're like signing up for something that's like $3-4, I would pause and really see, is this as reliable? Do some research and look for reviews. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I would not hire a designer to create a theme for my WordPress blog. So your theme is like how it looks pretty. I would get a theme, install it. I would not spend more than $150 on a theme, and I would go. And I would not hire a designer to even make adjustments to my theme. Your whole thing is to, first of all, themes are good because they give you guardrails. And it's really then about highlighting your content. If people are noticing your theme or noticing your font, your fonts, that's kind of the wrong direction. You want them to be noticing your content, what you're putting out. So again, think of your theme as like a frame, and then you're filling in the picture. You're painting the picture. So if you're worried about your fonts, again, you're kind of in the wrong direction. And this is also why we don't like something called page builders, which are things like Thrive Themes or Elementor. They slow down your site. They almost give you too many options. And we say sometimes you have so many options, it's like you have too much rope and you can hang yourself with the rope. So again, if you can avoid using page builders, definitely do that. Another thing is, a lot of times WordPress blogs right out of the gate. And by the way, we're talking about a WordPress.org blog, which is something you can own, not a WordPress.com blog. But in your WordPress.org blog, sometimes the default setting is one where in your URL, that's like the address for whatever blog posts, it has a date in the URL. And we recommend you turn that off, because if you have dates and your URLs can never change, they are permanent. That's how people find your content. That's how your content gains what's called authority. That URL is really important. And if it has a date in it, it starts to date your content. And one thing to think about is you can always be updating your content and republishing it with new information. And so the publish date of your blog post can change, but not the URL. So if you see dates in your URL, you want to get those removed, but you can't necessarily do it yourself. You need to hire somebody. So reach out to me at Jillian@MiloTree.com. We can help you with that. So think about dates in URL. Think about things like site speed, which really matters because it's all about the user experience. Google wants it to be a good experience. So that's why, again, lots of plugins and things can slow your site down. And we recommend you have a snappy site. So be mindful of plugins. When we set up a blog, we put Yoast, which is this free SEO plugin to help you. There are paid versions of Yoast, but we really just use the free version just to, again, give you a structure for how to optimize your posts for certain keywords. We add a caching plugin unless we use SiteGround, which has a free one, which means it kind of takes a snapshot of your content so that every time somebody comes to your site, all of your content doesn't have to reload. It kind of speeds up your site. And we add a photo optimizer to make your photos more optimized. So again, they load quicker. But that's kind of it in terms of plugins, because we want your blog to be snappy. That's my word, snappy. Anyway, so those are just some insights, some thoughts when thinking about setting up a WordPress blog. I do really recommend WordPress. And I feel like once you learn it, it's really cool. So please go to milotree.com/WordPress. Our workshop is tomorrow, 2 p.m. I would love you to join. And also, again, I say this and I really believe it. I like doing live workshops because during this time, I like showing up with other like-minded bloggers and online entrepreneurs so that I don't have to think about the world outside and I can focus on growing my business and helping you grow your business. And because I feel like there isn't a lot of control that we have in the world, this is something we can control and we can show up together to do it and to support each other. So that's what I'm going to say, milotree.com/WordPress. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. And I'm still figuring out what I think of StreamYard. I haven't been able to read any comments. I don't quite know exactly how this is working, but I'll keep you posted on what I think. So have a great Tuesday. Maybe some of you I will see tomorrow, and I'll be popping in again. Oh, and my next podcast is going live tomorrow. And I'm talking with my personal designer, Clara, and we're talking about how to create pins for Pinterest quickly, easily, that get clicks, and that are really optimized for attention. So definitely, if you don't subscribe to my podcast, it's the Blogger Genius podcast, and let me know what you think. And I'll be popping in to talk about that soon. I don't know when. So that's it. And by the way, I do show up Mondays, 3 p.m. Central Time. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.